Okay, my beautiful friends, here we go. Sit back and relax because it's going to be a wild ride today. Let's talk. So, it is now Thursday, September 29th, 2022. People, are you watching what's happening here? It's unraveling again already. So, let's just rewind for a day. Yesterday, profound. Bank of England initiates quantitative easing again on a massive scale, on any scale, as a matter of fact. Bank of England said they'll buy it all if they need to, but that wasn't enough because right now, 10-year yield rising, dollar reversing, going higher yet again. What's happening here? Okay, it's a language. You have to understand how the market works. So yesterday, the market was freaking orgasmic on this announcement of more quantitative easing by the Bank of England here. Okay, so the market's now saying, hey, other central banks, you better do the same thing or forget about it. You know, it's an interesting dynamic that plays out in this market. It's always the same thing. Will the market get more? Well, I guess that remains to be seen. I can promise you that if we see this unravel rapidly, more action is going to get taken. The Bank of England was the first to blink. Let's see who blinks again. But look, like I said yesterday, does this mean everything is fine? Are we all of a sudden, just in some kind of a lovely place here? Absolutely not. Because look, like I said, these central banks, the markets, the economy can't have it both ways. Either pathway that these central banks want to take, whether they want to institute more quantitative easing or some other mechanism here to prop up the stock market, number one, it's massively inflationary, meaning it's killing the currencies. Okay, that's the root cause of the issue. Now, I'm again sitting here this morning and I'm flipping through the mainstream propaganda ministry and they're talking about central bank action and what are they of England has instituted quantitative easing. Are central banks going to slow down the pace of rate increases because they really, really want to fight inflation? It's just that they're propagating the lie. They're not stopping. Let them continue to raise the overnight rate or the federal funds rate here in the United States with no effect at all. As a matter of fact, that was the story. It's one of the stories this morning. Global inflation continues to rise despite what central banks are doing here, raising the overnight rate. The Federal Reserve doing the same thing at every meeting. It's not going to stop. They can't change it, nor is it designed to slow inflation. You know this, okay? This is some kind of deceptive tactic. Look here, don't look here. When are people going to start saying, enough is enough? This is just nonsensical here. But that's the situation that we are in. So let's keep our eyes on a few things today. We are now watching what happened yesterday unravel. Stock futures lower across the board. 10-year yield on the rise. Dollar stronger. Okay, are we now entering a new phase, a bigger phase of a global bond market sell-off? That is very possible. It's very possible here. I even said this action by the Bank of England, this is temporary. It's not going to put anything off. We're not going to be saved by these central banks because they're eventually going to allow the entire freaking debt market, including the currency, which is part of the debt, to implode. They can't get out of it. No one can get out of it. There's no way to sidestep this. This is a freight train speeding straight at you at wide open throttle, and you can't sidestep it. It can't be stopped. It's unstoppable. You understand? And it's not going to change. So just realize the situation and think about what you're going to do. Now let us move forward here. Oh, just real quick on Bo Ploney. I was just goofing around yesterday. I'm sure he's a nice enough guy, but his biblical predictions just ain't cutting it. I wish the guy would stop. I'm sure he would, if he could just change his tune a little bit, he'd be okay. I got nothing against the guy other than the fact that he keeps, putting out these warnings and promises that the market's going to crash, and it just doesn't based on biblical passages. However he does, it just don't work. Okay. Anyway, so just wanted to get that out here with regard to that. Nothing against the guy personally. All right, look. So what do we find out this morning? Here's some economic news. Number one, global inflation continues to rise. People, listen to me here. It's not peaking. We're nowhere near a peak. It's going to get monumentally worse. Can't be stopped. You all know that. Number two, so first time unemployment claims came in. Guess what? Better than expected. That means our economy is doing so well, right? How about no? Because we just found out yet again, okay, and I told you that you knew this. We discussed it right here. The U.S. economy continues to shrink. It's collapsing, people. Not just here in the United States, but globally. And this is not by accident. Central banks are determined to destroy the global economy, destroy the current financial system. And nothing is going to get in their way. They are the controlling force on the planet. Everything else is a sideshow, freak show, theater. You understand? I think you do. Now, I want to direct your attention to something else. I don't happen to like former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, but he said something that's pretty profound, and it's interesting here. So, this is a statement from former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. He is seeing breakdowns in market function, specifically making reference to debt market liquidity. Now, like I've been saying, you and I, we discuss this all the time. We're light years ahead of the curve here. And this issue with the debt market is getting attention. It's even getting attention on the mainstream, henceforth here with Larry Summers. Okay? People, I'm going to say this again, and I want you to start talking about it. The debt market hyperbubble, this Frankenstein monster that has the world in its grips right now, is the greatest threat to human life, human existence on the planet. And you know exactly why, okay? This hyperbubble in debt has created a human bubble. When the debt bubble pops, the population is going to die off. It's going to die off rapidly for multiple reasons here, okay? It's going to present a resource problem. Basic necessities just to live are not going to become available here. A complete lockup of the system, pandemonium in the streets. People will be at each other's throats. Why do you think they want to keep people divided? Why do you think they don't want you talking to your neighbors, talking to your friends? They want to lock you up in your house. They don't want you socializing. You understand? Because then you'll make alliances. You'll make alliances with people. They do not want that. They want you to hate everybody else because of race, skin color, religion, belief systems, age, whatever it might be. Divide the people. So at the moment when this whole thing comes down, they're going to look out for their own self-interest instead of grouping together and trying to come up with a solution collectively. You understand? It's a mechanism that has been used since time immemorial, people, and I think you are well aware of that. So anyway, in summary here, real quick, this is already unraveling, all right? What the Bank of England did yesterday, the market was giddy, orgasmic, all over the place. It's reversing already, not even 24 hours later. Now, you and I are going to keep our eyes on a couple of things. Very, very simple. The 10-year yield, the U.S. dollar, relative strength, or the Dixie, or better yet, I summed it all up for you in a neat little equation called the MMRI. Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. People, until you find a better way to gauge risk in this market based upon the credit markets or the debt markets, follow the MMRI. It's free for you and everyone else on the planet that wants to look at it. There's a link in the description of this video. All right, pay attention to that. And I want to hear from you as well. Are you surprised to hear that the U.S. economy continues to shrink? I don't think so. Are you surprised to hear that global inflation is in fact not peaking? And every single one of these so-called know-it-all people, including, the whatever it is, Janet Yellen, she was on the bandwagon with, oh, this is temporary, oh, it's transitory, oh, it's peaking, okay? And there were other ones too. Other Fed presidents, same thing. Loretta Mester, the goal of the Fed. I have to do that every time. And freaking Lex Luthor, Neil Kashkari, they're all wrong. Wrong, or are they misleading you deliberately? I want to hear from you. So what do you think? What do you think about all this? Any shocks here? I think the only real surprise is Larry Summers. Larry Summers seeing breakdowns in market functioning, making reference to debt market liquidity. I mean, come on, people. You and I have been talking about this since literally forever. It's just insane. And now all of these things are starting to come to light. And you know what? I think it's a good thing. But people don't understand it. See, that's the whole key to it. People don't have a clue that the debt market is a ticking time bomb, that the debt market is in fact the greatest threat to human life, period, the end, more so than global warming, more or nuclear war. This is it. This is the clear and present danger that people need to be focusing on, but they're not going to. They're going to be told to look here, over there, but don't look at this. But you see, that's the system. That's how it needs to function, but people aren't allowed to know that either. How many people do you think actually understand that we have a debt-based economic model? That this is the reason why we have to have stopgap measures with regard to government funding. We can't have a budget. They have to continue to borrow, pull cash from the future, create things like the Inflation Reduction Act. We can spend our way out of inflation. Who came up with that? And to sell to the American people? That person deserves a medal, because it seems to have worked, because I don't see a single person taking to the streets on that one. No, they won't. People will not do it until the inevitable meltdown in the currency market, in the debt market, and it's going to turn the world upside down and inside out. You know that. All right, look, this guy here loves you a lot. Again, I want to hear from you. Please share the video, get it out there. See you later.